Okay. Get the Facebooks going. Cool. Okay, so it's going. I don't. So YouTube will tell me how many people are there. Facebook. Hey, there's a person. Cool. Hey, there's two people. Can everybody hear me okay? That's my big concern, is making sure it doesn't sound weird, because I can't hear it out here. So, hi Jessica. Gio. Nice to see you guys. Everybody hear everything okay? Cool. There's a little bit of a lag from when I asked the comments pop up. So what I have set up is I have the Facebook Live right here, and then I have right behind me is my computer doing the YouTube Live, and they're both recording it. So we'll kind of do that. I'm a little early, but I wanted to make sure things are working. So, how's everybody doing tonight? I know it's Monday. So, do I have everything within reach? Yes. Ish. We'll work it out. I kind of wish I could have done this as a Zoom class, but I don't have access to Zoom. So even though I work for the school, we don't really have Zoom where people can ask questions as we go. Yes, it is still Monday. I didn't have to work today, which was nice, but somehow it still managed to be Monday. That's there. Oh, hey, more people. Cool. Oh, so I work in transportation. Mr. Atwood is a teacher, so between us, it was grade prep day, so they had to go to work. I got to stay home. It's a short week because it's parent-teacher conferences, so I'll have Friday off, but we're going to an event on the farther side of Missouri, so that'll be kind of nice. Cool. We need more subs. It's hard being a sub. I totally give you kudos for doing that. So, let's see. Just is 7, so probably give a couple minutes, And granted, it's 7 Central Time, so try to go for as middle ground as I could. Next time, I may roll it back to 8. That way, the folks on the West Coast don't feel as rushed, and then it's not too late for people on East Coast and stuff. So I'll have to go from there. Let's see. Just gonna double check. I got everything. Oh, I'm in Calentier. I'm actually in Kansas, so I'm about as far away from everything as you can possibly get. In fact, we're not so far away that geographical center of the United States is within, just running distance. So, oh, cool. Batavia. We actually used to live down there. So, over in Halstead. So, and then ran away, and now I'm a Batavian Foreign Legion. So. Hi, Jennifer. Hello to N Tier 2. We're giving people kind of a few minutes to straggle in, and then I'll get going. Ooh, West Kingdom. Cool. You're probably one of the people Khalil talked to. I can barely speak English well, so it's okay. Ooh, Atlantia. Cool. My squire brother just moved out of Atlantia. So nice, closer to home. Okay. Sorry if I look away. I've got like 3 things right in front of me, so I'm not quite sure what I should look at and have it look like I'm looking at you guys. So I'm thinking, look at the phone. Look at the phone. Because that'll be okay for the camera up here. And maybe not point my finger right in the camera so it doesn't change focus. So let's see, 2 more minutes and then we'll get going. So how many of you guys are new to the SCA? Cool. All right. Then this is the kind of thing for you guys. So, we can go ahead and get started. My AOA could drink before I could, I think. It's pretty old. So, you know what? We'll go ahead and get going. It's recording, so. All right, so, hi, I'm Moon. I'm from Callantyre. I'm originally from Manhattan, Kansas, which is a little shire called Spinning Winds. It is actually older than the kingdom. Used to be part of the middle. In fact, I think it's older than I am, and I'm 47 next month. So it's pretty up there as far as ancient times. So I started when I was 16, though. So I am not a second gen kid, however. So, oh, hi, Amy. So, because of that, I was on my own a lot as far as what, I had to try and do, how I came up with stuff, doing all that. So this class is going to just kind of start with some basics of how to go, and I'm coming at it from a poor high school kid perspective. So as I've gone through the years, though, I've kind of gotten into this habit of trying to be that guy that I needed. It's what I also try and encourage other people to do. It's just one of those things that you gotta, if you want something out of it, you gotta put in. And with a people organization, you have to help the people. That's just how it works. So, tonight we're going to talk about things you're going to want to start looking at getting and how to get them, so that for the next round, when we start on projects, you can get into the, hey, this is how I can find things, this is where we go, that type stuff. So I'm not getting into all the stuff tonight as far as like all the encompassing things. This is going to be, you went to a fighter practice, you went to a populist meeting, you're hooked. Now what? What do you want to do? How are you going to do it? But when you show back up, you don't want to just look like brand new. Everybody looks brand new, and it's okay. But you don't want to. You want to look more the part. You want to feel like you're fitting in. Okay. So, first things first. I'm going to tell everybody, even if you're starting over, like Robert, do new persona, the works, get a notebook. Okay. You want to keep track of the things you do, or what interests you, even if it's just a little note. You don't have to have, grandiose schemes and, plans, although my stuff can look that way sometimes. I like getting, of course, it's all stuck in here. Welcome to live TV. Okay, so I like getting these little 5-star notebooks, but I get the ones with the graph paper, so I can write in them, but I can also draw. Okay, so this one is probably a better example. That's the one for all the classes. So I can do things like this. Okay, basically, here's a list of idea projects. Here's me starting to draw out my kind of patterns, things like that. That's true. Everybody does look new since the pandemic. And a lot of people are brand new. You would be surprised how many people are brand new because they found us on the internet, which is very, very cool. And I'm also easily distracted. So the other thing is, I want to make a thing, I just kind of draw out the thing. I use the grids to kind of help me guesstimate how I'm going to do it, or I'm looking at a pattern, I'm looking at a picture, how to do those things. So, grab a notebook. This is the other thing is, since I look at this as from the perspective of a poor high school kid, you don't always have a ton of room. Okay, you might have space in your room, you're a kid in the dorm, you got space in closet, you gotta keep things kind of consolidated. You may have stuff packed away. The notebook can help you keep track of what you got. Okay, so all right, we're gonna roll back now. Yes, I think that's probably one of the big things is a lot of us do take for granted what we have now. And then we see the role new people come in, or like, oh, why couldn't they just, be like this already? Which is unfortunate because we were there too once. Okay. All right. So we got our notebook. What are we gonna do? We're the new kid. We went, yes, I got to do this thing, but now I need some garb so I can fit in. How do I do that? Just bear with me that this is always going to come from that brand new high school kid mentality, because that was mine. Okay, that's how I did it. All right. So we need some clothes to fit in. You don't have to pick your persona right away. All right, you don't want to pick your persona right away. Find the things that interest you. Look at stuff on the internet. Look at what other people are doing. You may switch your mind, change your mind lots, and that's fine. The only thing you might have to think about is a name, but there are lots of generic names. Here's the other thing though. If you get a name, careful, because sometimes names can stick with you. I've been Moon since the beginning. A little background, I actually have a Native American persona. It's based off my family history. I am part Cherokee, part Scandinavian. So it is literally a I look at it as I am a Native American European tourist. I do 10th century. So basically, mine is from the view of a Cherokee who went the opposite direction. And this is how I see things. Okay? Backing up. Clothes. So some of the simpler clothes to do to get you started are going to be Norse clothing, or kind of general European type clothes, or Roman clothes. Right? They're simple. They don't require a whole lot of mad, crazy sewing techniques, stuff like that. So that's kind of how we're going to go. But first, we need to find stuff. We need to find stuff to work with. First thing, you're going to need some stuff, unless you have Gold Key, which is like the loaner things, or somebody who's been in for a while who can loan you stuff, that fits. That's the other thing, fit. Notice, not everybody's garb fits, so we're kind of starting out making new clothing. Yes, basic tea tunics. But first, you're going to need some tools. All right. Now, since we were poor high school students, sometimes we might scavenge from parents. Other times, you may have folks. Especially in this day and age, sewing is not as common. It was a little more common when I was younger. Home ec classes, things like that. But I also had parents that were very, let's make the thing. Okay. So, I was at Walmart the other day. They had this little sewing travel. It wasn't a travel sewing kit. It was a small sewing kit. It wasn't like one of those simple repair deals. They're like itty bitty. This was a little more substantial. So I picked it up. Plan from here, though, is I'm going to use this as we make our stuff. That way, if we have any people that are literally in the same predicament, know what we're doing. So I'm pulling out the extras that I've thrown in with it. That way I can show you guys. Alright. So, Walmart. They have these little kits at Walmart for $10, which is pretty good. I sat in the aisle and priced some of the individual parts. This was the better deal. One of the big draws was it had full-size scissors. It also had the smaller scissors, measuring tape, pins, needles, more pins. Those were safety pins, seam ripper, measuring, the 2 chalks, and threads. This is everything we need. We can make a tunic with the exception of fabric. Okay? So when we do this next time, I'm going to actually use everything in this. Okay? So here's kind of one note. Something I want to note. You know how you hear about everybody saying, don't touch my fabric scissors. Right? Because the reason they say that is when you use scissors that are super sharp for cutting through multiple layers of fabric, when you use them on paper and plastic and things like that, you actually dull them. That's all it is. Alright? So, our big scissors, we want to use those for our fabrics. The little scissors, other than for snips, we'll use it for other little things. Okay? But for, like, say you're a kid with not a whole lot of, budget or allowance, or you got a part-time job, $10, all the tools we need. It's great. Alright. That's the other thing is, when you're making this list of, you want to look at, have a side that has tools, the other side that has supplies. There are some things that are in the middle. Your budget, your notebook, and then one other thing are going to be in the both category because they're very important of what you're doing. All right. Now, we're going to be making our first tunic, right? We need fabric. Fabric can be expensive, especially when you're in the more period fabrics like linen, wool, stuff like that. So you have to be creative in your shopping. All right. So recently, well, not so recently, Palantir's IKEA had a great big giant bin of linen sheets, like king size linen sheets. This happens to be a full one that we picked up earlier, but they had king size ones recently. I got a couple stacked over there. This is what you want to look for. Whether you're at Walmart, yes, resharpening scissors is a great big hassle. Sorry, I'm trying to keep track here. When you break down the yardage on this versus the price, so like this particular set of sheets was $20. They're full-size sheets, which 55 inches by 77 inches by 19 inches. Oh, that's the fitted. Okay. We need the flat sheet. 17. Its finished size is 79 inches by 102 inches. That's quite a bit of yardage. I mean, you're looking at 2 yards wide by 6, 7, close to, yeah, like 7 feet long. So it's a little over 3 yards. You'll have to forgive me, my math is a little off, but it's plenty. Okay. With this particular package, we can get a waisted tunic. When I say waisted, it's a we're not doing geometric, we're just doing general flared out. Boom. You can get a dress. You know, that's the other thing. When I'm doing this, I'm trying to, some of the stuff is going to be, you know, a girl can make a dress, girl can make a tunic, doesn't matter. Some of the links you can't tell as it is. Yes. 2 carry sacks. Also be, you know, great bags later. So that'll be one of the projects. But it's plenty of fabric. Okay, so it's our start. The other thing is, cotton works just as well. Okay. This is an old sheet, came from the closet. It doesn't have its mate anymore. You know, it's a cotton sheet. But it's soft. It's been washed a gazillion times. Feels good. You know, this one is also king size, so we can get a few things out of this. One of the other things you're going to want to collect up for yourself, it's going to sound strange, but it's going to help you in the long run. You want to find your comfiest non-stretchy t-shirt. So when I say non-stretchy, I mean when you put it on, it doesn't really have to stretch out for you to get it on your body. This is going to help you make your pattern. Okay. It's already pretty much set. You know, if you go and you find another one of these things, there's the other thing. The reason it is your comfy one is because it's already been washed enough, it's shrunk, it's how it is. It's not going to change. Okay. For you guys that are like, you know, hey, my clothes don't fit so great anymore, go find the one that does. This is what we're going to work on. We're not going to look at the tag. We're going to look at the fit. Okay? Because when you start working with these sheets, it's going to make a world of difference. Other things you're going to want to add to your... Sorry if I skipped around a little. Other thing you're going to want to add to your tools over here. Sharpie. It's really... Sometimes you just need a mark that's going to stay. I need a pen. Also get a pencil, throw in your notebook. Things you're going to do. When we get to sewing, you don't necessarily want all these pins sticking out. You know, if we got kids wandering around, we are the kid. I'm the kid. I actually like these because these hold my fabric together better for me, and I can move them quickly. Now, I have a bunch of black ones. Flannel works. Does it look like a woven pattern? Is it comfortable? Yes. Clearance bins. Going to like Goodwills, stuff like that. Sometimes they'll have whole giant bolts of material that somebody just dropped off that's like awesome. And it's like, you know, $5 because they're like, well, it's just material. What are we going to do? You know, good example is recently we went to an antique mall in Lawrence. Hidden upstairs in a bin, they have all this old upholstery fabric, but all the fabric seems to get thrown in there. So, especially if it's on a roll, gets chucked in. Found great material that's going to be, you know, new pants for me that was stupid cheap. See, back to the clips. The clips are nice. You can usually snag them out of the office. I like having one that is a different color so that as I get towards the end of where I have them clipped in, I know it's coming and I can relocate them because what's already sewn is sewn. Let's see. The other thing when you need stuff just held flat as you're going along, paper clips. Big beefy paper clips. The other thing is holds it nice and flat. You can sew by it and get to it. You slide it around, sew again. Fingernail clippers. Reason is, as you're sewing, sometimes it's easier to grab one of these, snip a thread, than worrying about trying to finagle the, you know, scissors in to do something. It's quick, it's easy. Plus, as you're sewing, you're gonna find out where your nails get in the way. Guaranteed. Tweezers. That's the other thing is you're gonna rip something out. Sometimes the seam ripper doesn't work. Sometimes you just need to get a little bit out, or you need to pull something through. Always super handy. If you have them around, these extra, you know, grits and other ones of extra size needles, different sizes, these will help. The stuff I'm going to do later is going to be about showing you how to hand sew it. I could show you how to use a machine in general, but every machine is different. So it doesn't really do me a whole lot of good other than just general. Plus, not everybody has a sewing machine. However, while we were at Walmart, saw you can get a brand new Brother sewing machine that'll do the job for just most everything for like $70 now, which was unheard of when I was a kid. You know, sewing machine was expensive. Goodwills, thrift stores, things like that, you can pick up more sewing machines now than you could. You know, that's another option. Excuse me, I'm going to touch the button here and see what this thingy says. What does it say? Okay. I don't know how that works, so we'll worry about that one later. Okay. So that's kind of our basic tools. We're not going to really go into other stuff for a while. this is gonna get us going. We're gonna make our first tunic. When you're stowing, and storing your stuff. Oh yeah, refurbished machines too. You have to be careful with some of those because sometimes they are well more expensive and might as well be brand new, priced than they are, a deal. So kind of is what it is. When you're storing your stuff, right? We're thinking this, poor high school student, poor college student, space is limited. One thing I would consider getting is a tote. Okay, so it doesn't have to be one of these with a hingy lid, but definitely a lid. Sometimes you just want something to keep the kids, the cats out of, that stuff, type stuff. So for me, I had this one laying around, projects, so I can stow my materials in it. I'll know what I got because I put it in my notebook. These are important things. It also helps appease spouses, significant others, that your project is not spilling out all over the place and you have a place to consolidate it. It's that, you live in a dorm room. You only got so much space to have all your stuff. You can put your stuff in here. Okay? Kind of treat it like a trunk. Here's the other thing. As you're carrying stuff around, you're going to want a bag of some kind. Put your project in, put your garb in, hold your other non-essential things, stuff like that. You go to your first event, you want somewhere to stuff your stuff. Okay? Unless you whirl your, stuff you're doing, you want something to put your tennis shoes and your, other things. Get a backpack. It works. It doesn't have to be fancy. There's somewhere you can set it in the car. You don't have to take up space. You rode with somebody. Okay. Another option that doubles as, a little more period bag. Messenger bags. This particular one actually came from the Goodwill in Manhattan. It was like $12. It's heavy duty canvas, leather. I looked it up just for giggles, and turns out this bag, brand new, was $120. Wearing this, as long as I'm not, super dragging, attracting attention to it. This is your regular Norse, Roman, who knows, European satchel, kind of like modern day, Comanchio bag. Okay, so there's options. When we make our tunic, so next week I'll do another Monday Live. I'll show you how to make the tunic. This is more, you got, get the frame of mind kind of class. So if you guys have questions, feel free to throw them in the comments. This thing's going slow enough, I should be able to see them. And I'll kind of address them. This was easier to do as a Zoom class because then I had people to look at and it was a little more interactive. But you're going to get into that. You're now a scavenger mindset, unless you're super, super crafty. In that case, you're going to, get your cosplay mindset on. Does look good from 10 feet away. Does cool. That's all that matters. People get like way closer, looking at your stuff, touching your clothes, that we might have to have a different conversation. Okay. This is good enough. The SCA's only real semi-hard rule is an attempt. You don't have to look stunning fabulous your first event. You don't have to look stunning fabulous all the time. Sometimes you just want to look like you blend in and you pass. Okay? So the only thing we really have to make is a tunic. Unless you can lucky enough you're a girl who has a dress that looks like it'll pass, or you're a guy roughly the same size, can wear it as a tunic, depending. The only thing clothes wise that girls generally went out over guys is footwear. You have better sandals, better boots that pass in a medieval setting. Okay. Good example is, here are some leg wraps from Bad Baroness. Okay. Bad Baroness, goes to all the big events. She does really great little woven bands. These wrap around your legs, hide the fact that you're really wearing shorts. Okay. Good example of faking that is Ace Bandages. Look around. These are older Ace Bandages. They still got some of the elasticity to them, but they're wider. They're more fabric-y. They're perfect. No one's gonna know. Pants. You can wear pajama pants. If you have lighter cotton, the pajama pants with the drawstring, had some pockets in there. Those are great. Don't need anything better than that. Sometimes khaki pants, as long as they're not like contractor pants or the ones with the big cargo pockets and stuff, those work great as pants, and you get your pockets. Okay. So here's the other thing. If you're a girl, you don't have to wear a dress. You can wear a tunic. You can wear pants. Nothing saying you have to do. When we're doing Roman stuff, making our Roman stuff, you'll be able to make shorts, wear sandals. We're going to be wearing basically tablecloths. So there's lots and lots of options. The one thing that will be hard to fake, right, is footwear. While a lot of footwear is pretty close, medieval footwear is pretty distinctive. Okay, white tennis shoes never really work. Okay, I do have a pair of Converse though that are leather, that if you weren't really looking too close, I might be able to get by without you noticing. So we're looking for those kind of things. A good example is going to be, instead of, yes, T-tunics can be fun to make. For footwear, it's going to sound weird, but Walmart's your friend now. Have things on the cheap. You can get these leather sandals that look relatively like turn shoes. Yes. Anything that had a previous use, but you can still use it. Ballet shoes, dyed or undyed, depends on what kind you got. These are house slippers. If you're not looking really close, they work. They're cozy. They have tread. I'm not going to slip around. These are turn shoes. They're relatively cozy. They have tread. These are probably cozier on the feet because they have all the stuff on it, or the cushiony insole stuff. Let's see. Boots. Work boots that don't have tons of things on them, for the longest time, were the guys go to, medieval boot. The guys basically had a pair of biker boots or combat boots. If it works. Is it a pair of leather boots? Yes. Is it the right kind? Does it really matter? No. The reason I'm saying that, if you didn't see laces on these, would you really tell the difference? Okay. 10-foot rule says those are basic, like turn shoes, leather shoes. Mixed with these, gonna be hard to tell. These are just Doc Martens. With showing you all these things, I'm trying to get to the point, drive home the point that use what you have. Okay? If you already have a pair of shoes like these, they're comfortable, they'll work. You don't have to go buy something new till you know what you want to buy, what you've saved up for. These I wear all the time. They're super comfy. I could wear these to fight in, do all the stuff. When it's summer, nobody's looking unless you're flapping your feet around. They're flip-flops. They're leather flip-flops. When we're making Roman stuff, in the end it's hot. Who's going to really look? If you're inside or you're outside, it doesn't matter. This is all about, we're making the attempt, we're new, we're starting out. I'm showing you how to do it when you're that poor high school kid. Basically, that's what we're doing. Let's see, what else do we need? You're going to an event, you're gonna need some basic sundry items. You're gonna need a towel. You're gonna need, the toiletry kit, little things like that. Those are all things that can hide away in your bag. Reason I'm saying get one of those, have it, is like you never know when you're gonna crash the night. You never know when you're gonna be at a little camping event and you got your sleeping bag and whatnot. Somebody says, hey, crash in this tent. It's happened to me before. You have lots of options. You want to have yourself prepared as much as you can. Okay? Have a spare change of clothes that's either the clothes you showed up in, packed away nice, get like a big gallon bag, slide your clothes in there. Something happens, you get drenched, there's a sudden downpour at the outside event your clothes are dry. You're ready to go. Belts we can do out of, you can get ring belts. You can usually borrow a belt. Depending on how skinny you are, you go to the big guy section, get a really big, leather belt. Get a plain leather belt. You can still wrap it. Dog leashes, really long leather dog leashes that you can pick up all sorts of places on sale. If you're from Batavia, go to the Yard. The Yard has all sorts of stuff in there. They had dog leashes that were like 6-7 feet long and were like $1.50. That type of stuff. And if you're from Batavia or Wichita and you happen to be going, what's the Yard? The Yard is a great big giant supply depot of raw material and crazy wonderfulness. It's a metal yard with extra stuff. If you're a fighter, they have foam by the yard. Get a yard of it. You can foam your helmets, make your weapons, all sorts of stuff. This is one of those things you gotta start knowing where you're looking. Getting little things like that. You're gonna raid Goodwills. You're gonna raid parents' closets, friends' closets. Ask first. Always ask first. Good example is this is actually a purse that my mom shoved at me, just absolutely positive it was one of my SCA pouches. It's got strap on the back. It can fit to a belt. I have to fix it because it did come undone. And it had a little leather strap. It was just a little purse. Now it's a nice little, very Middle European type pouch. Holds some basic things. I hold my keys, hold some cash. Will not hold a cell phone. That's one of the things we got to figure out. How do we hide that away? All sorts of stuff. Back to kind of like when we're sewing, if you have access to a sewing machine or you know how to use one, use it. I'm not going to say don't use it. This other stuff I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to hand sew. That way you know how to do it and you can do it later. The other thing is you can combine the two. You can machine sew the majority of it and then hand finish it. Gives it a really cool look. People have to like get into your clothes to find out if what you did was, not all hand sewing. And if they're that close, you need to tell them to step off anyway. Okay? I, for one, have my grandmother's sewing machine. And she got it who knows when, and it was not her first one. She would live to be 99. It doesn't stop on a dime. I gotta learn how to dial it in, things like that. Whereas Mr. Atwood over on the side has serger, sewing machine, hand sewing accoutrements everywhere. If you don't want to necessarily go find sheets, or you have a little cash, you can get something that you want. When you're shopping, Walmart has a whole wall of rainbow sorted cotton cloth. It's generally between $3 to $4 a yard now. It used to be cheaper. Sometimes in the clearance bins it's $1 a yard. You just gotta keep an eye on. You can pick any color you want. Now, is it the greatest quality fabric all the time? No. Is sometimes you get something that's really nice? Yes, it's just simple cotton broadcloth. If you get something like that, you're going to need probably about 3 yards, depending on how big a person you are. If you're a bigger guy, like significantly, I'm just SCA medium. If you're talking like we're getting in that, dreadnought class kind of guys, get 4. Get 2 to 3 for your pants. If you don't want to, wear kind of more basic pajama pants, you want to make the thing. We'll be making the thing, but these are the things you kind of want to look for. If you get a sheet set, remember, you're not just using the flat sheet. We're going to use the fitted sheet too. We're just going to take it apart. We're going to spread it out, do a thing. It's just a flat sheet. It's been folded in, had some elastic added. It's the same thing. Trying to see what else do we need to look for. Rulers or yardsticks, preferably both. Yardstick's going to help with our long measurements and cutting. Another option, if you have access to like a rotary cutter, following along on one layer of material as we're doing a thing makes a difference. Yardsticks are for like the smaller pieces when we're making our different things. If you have it handy, a big roll of the brown craft paper or the big more like shipping paper kind of stuff, if you have access to that, grab one of those. We'll make a pattern. That helps later on. Trying to think if there's anything else. You older folks that have been around for a while, if there's anything you can think of, feel free to chime it into the comments and stuff like that, so people can hear it. Oh, another thing. A simple, like the 6x8 painter's drop cloth. It's canvas. It's See if you can find one of those. You can get them at, most any construction box stores, Walmart, for a couple bucks. Reason I'm saying you can get one of these can make great bag bodies. They're a little more durable. We can mix them with our pillowcase, make something really nice that's going to stand up to what we're doing. You can pick up like a couple 1/4 to 1/2 inch dowel rods. We'll make a bag. Yes. Discount wrapping paper. I totally forgot about the grid on the back to show you for the measuring. That's handy. Let's see, anything else? You're also going to want a space to work. Ideally, dining room tables are kind of the best because they have the most room, but you have to be prepared to be able to pick it up and move on. That way people can have the dinner table back. In a pinch, a card table will work. The floor will work. Those new, folding tables that fold a sandwich in half, those work. Plus the fact that they they're preset to like 5 and 6 feet, kind of helps you know where you're working on, how much room and space you got. Let's see. Does that let me do that? That would be very cool if I could do that. Then I could see people talking. Let's see what does this do? Yes, the drop cloths are roughly the 10-ounce count. They're just not real super tight woven. What you want to do, but is definitely wash them a couple times on hot and dry them on hot to get them to shrink in. Yes, this is mostly the gear to get you going. Feast gear and camping gear, they are definitely their own kind of things. Feast gears are it's also a matter of looking where knowing where you're looking. Actually, you know what? Let me see if this thing will do. I don't know if this will let me do it, but no. I was hoping that would let me. So a good example of piece gear on budget. Pre-pandemic, we were waiting for a restaurant to open, and they had kind of a Goodwill place next door, so we went and just wandered around. These were $2. They are copper. They were meant to be hung on the wall. You can see where the bit used to be here. But like one had been broken off, the other I just removed, and now they're lovely little serving plates. Yeah, great for stuff. Another example is at Target. If you go to the Target, in the glasses and stemware and stuff like that, they have these plastic cups that look like blown glass. They're great. They had clear ones, they had blue ones, they even had a pitcher. Big Lots also had like melamine plates that looked like really fancy ceramic ware with all the almost Middle Eastern to Byzantine-ish designs on it. Also great. Those things are also, it's a mindset. This is how we're looking for things to get what we need. But yes, currently it's, yes, thrift store shopping is your friend. But yeah, this first bit is like, okay, we're gonna get clothes, because a lot of those other things can be kind of borrowed, or we're getting towards winter. There's not much in the way of camping events, so we want to just kind of look good. All right. So I'm trying not to waste everybody's evening, too much. For next time, we'll be making tunic. Okay. This is going to be a fabric waster tunic. It is not a geometric, we maximized how much we can get out of the thing. This is a quick and dirty tunic. It got us to the thing. Oh, well, somebody over there. Hi, Calvin. How are you? It just did pop up. So, that way we have something that gets us to an event and gets us to practice. We're looking more how we want. Okay? Until we find the thing that really, speaks to us, and, we want to do it, and then we work on that. All right. If you can learn how to hand sew, you can sew a lot of these things. It may be frustrating, if you have access to sewing machine or people who sew, those can also be, helpful. Let's see what else. Trading, bartering. If you don't have the necessarily the skills or the stuff, but you have other things you know how to do, sometimes people work a deal, especially when it comes to clothes. The other thing is, if you're one of the people that have been around for a bit and doing this, and you have stuff that you just don't use anymore, but it's sitting over there and you don't know what to do, take it for the new folks. Not too long ago, I sat in Kansas City's fighter practice. I had a trading blanket of stuff out. We had a bunch of new guys walking through. They were talking about what were they going to do for their first event. They didn't even have clothes. The guy was roughly my size. I just started chucking stuff at him. I didn't need it. Yes, Kelvin, I am recording a video. I'm doing a how-to class. So, someone randomly dropping by. That's kind of... Welcome to the internet. Totally lost my train of thought. So does that kind of give everybody an idea of how I'm going with this? I do wish I could have done it as a Zoom class, because it's a little more interactive. You can ask the questions as we go. I don't have to look for things here. That's the thing, is we want to make this as... Oh, thank you, Robert. I really appreciate that. Yeah, so speaking of largesse, our kingdom, when you show up for your first event, they give out a mug. It's been made by one of our potters. Cloaks for cold events. Yes, a drapery. So the reason I'm saying drapes is when you're at like Goodwills, flea markets, things like that, we're gonna look. You can look for drapes because they're usually heavier material. So usually big enough we can make a cloak out of. You can also make coats. I have a large section of wool that actually came from some drapes. It was a gifted prize from Queen's Prize. So like when you enter Queen's Prize in Callantyre, you get someone who has a GOA or higher. They sponsor you, you put in your thing, and they have prizes for all the people they sponsored. This happened to come in. One of the things I got. Now I have enough to make a coat. Cold events, and this tricky. One of the things you can do is some blankets can be wrapped cloak style. The old army blankets. There are some moving blankets now that are more, they look like the old army blankets. Harbor Freight, bizarrely enough, has got some stuff like that make for, good stuff like that. Sometimes you got to order. I have, so this here is a good example. This is a towel, but got a really cool woven pattern on it. Got the towelish ends. It came from Amazon. It's a Turkish towel. They were on sale for something, silly cheap. But, Angus, I would really hope you could help with something like that. So, but yeah, simple cloak. I forget how they tie. I'm trying to look at myself backwards and it doesn't help. There's basically you just have to start thinking like, what could I make this into? You have to have that cosplay mentality, kid scavenging for what he really wants to do mentality. Okay, things like this, they're laying around the house. Sometime the older, Navajo style blankets. It's your first event. Don't sweat it. Grab one of those. Take it. Keep warm. No one's gonna care. If they care that much, they can help you get a cloak. Okay. Otherwise, you can have them talk to me, and I'll, that kind of thing. Yes, there will be more classes. If you guys get a chance, you can look at the other videos I've got. There's some of the basics, Antier and Terra Primaria. I've done a couple classes on doing things on the cheap. They're a little more detailed. Talking with folks. This is more, okay, you just got started, now what? Let's make a thing. So that's kind of where I'm going at it. So next week, if you want to follow along, you want to build along, I'm going to be making a T-tunic. I'm going to be taking this flat sheet right here, this nice white material, and making a tunic. I'm going to take my t-shirt here. I'm going to use it as my pattern. Okay, I'll lay it out, show you how there's two folds, two seams, couple cuts, and then we're going to sew. And then we'll sew it up and we will have a tunic. If you guys want, I can show, sewing with some machine on, the main construction, and then doing the hand finishing. That may be easier to do up in an hour. But then we'll have tunic. Next thing is we'll go find pants. We'll make an outfit just like that. Then, later we'll do more in-depth stuff like how to do a geometric tunic or geometric dress. Do a Roman tunic. Do, Roman dresses, apron dress. All those things. That way folks have some variety. It's not all just, this one thing. And then you can go in and you have something you can make. Go, you made it, don't sweat it, everybody, it'll be fine. If you haven't, so I hate when these things go, do the like, share, and subscribe. Just saying, like this Skraeling Saga page so you can find me and you can ask me questions. I don't mind questions. If you start working on something and you're trying to sort out how to do it, send me a message. More than happy to help out. If something you want to see specifically or you're having troubles with, or you want to try and figure out something, send me a message. Subscribe to the YouTube thing. That way you can see when I do these things. All of these are being recorded as I do them. Hopefully I'll get a little less spastic. It's very much a Monday. I'm going to have to get used to it being Mondays. The other thing is I may roll it back so that they start at 8 versus 7. That way for folks on the West Coast, they don't feel rushed. Folks on the East Coast, it's still not too late. And then that way we can also just kind of ease into it, do a thing. People can have time to throw up questions ahead of time if they want. But I can see all the questions. I got all the questions here. I got all the questions over here. So anybody else have anything they'd like to talk about? Got a question for me for before we go? You can kind of think on what you want to do for next time. I will be doing the tunic. So start. The other thing, this is a great way of making them for kids. You can grab the t-shirt that they wear all the time that fits currently. Oh, you're welcome, Jessica. I'm glad to help. That way pajama pants always work. Shoes on a kid, nobody cares. They do. They have way too much time on their hands. Things like that. Other than that, it's kind of what I got. We'll do beast gear and camping gear and stuff as different things. Can even go into dyeing, stuff like that. I wanted to do simple construction first. That way you guys have something that gets you started. If you're a little further along and you have specific, more advanced things you want to work on, still send me a message. If I can't help you, I know people. A lot of people all over the place. I can find you the person that can help you out. No one can go over there. Well, thank you. It doesn't feel like a great class. Probably because it's been a while since I've done this. But the Baron of Terra Primaria has suckered me into a couple things. So I got to get back into the swing of it. So, plus this helps me. A lot of ways I thought of as, if I do it live, this is my deadline. I'll come in, I'll have my stuff ready to go, and I'll do a thing. So, I'm glad it helped you guys out. Like I said, if you guys need anything else, have questions, don't hesitate to get a hold of me. This weekend, I will be an event. In fact, my soon-to-be knight is hiding in the audience. Be re-squiring, doing that. So I'll also be doing a little filming at Griffin's Fest. So if you're there, come say hi. If not, we'll see you next time. Bye. And see, get this. I don't know if you're still